Hello everyone and welcome to an all new Geek World Order video. Randy here, and today I am looking at the vintage Beast Wars figure. This is Armordillo from the first wave of Beast Wars toys. And he is one of the basic class figures. And yeah, he is the one-step transform. You can probably see the mechanism there on his back. But let's take a look at the guy. He is cast in gray and orange plastic, so a very interesting look for an armadillo, but he's got the full shell, so you can tell he's a shell former. Gonna have a lot of robot mode. So as far as articulation goes, his feet kind of move back and forward a little bit, and his tail moves up and down. But you do have some ball joint movement here on the forearms. So there's that. Now let's take a look at the detailing on the figure, because he does have this really nice texture pretty much all over it, like that armor that an armadillo actually has. And you can, there's some light gray brushing here to help bring out some detail. But you can tell, like, even though it's orange, there is some really nice scaled detailing here on the figure. So that part is actually nice. Now, you do get some head sculpt details. Have these really dark, striking eyes. He's got some of that gray wash on top there to add some extra detail. And then he's got this kind of menacing look on his face. And he's got the teeth painted here. So overall, it's not a bad little figure. They do pack a lot of detail into this figure. Even in, what will become the robot mode arms, you can see on the arm, there's a lot of just detail there. So, and he does have the big front paws with these massive nails. So let's get into transforming this guy. And yeah, unfortunately, being a one of the early Beast Wars figures, he is one of the one-step figures, basically. So pretty much you just, you can kind of do it either way, but basically you just literally just do that. There's a force friction piece here. You literally just pull the tail up. And there he goes. Pull him down into his robot mode. There's Armordillo in his robot mode, more of the orange and gray motif. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to pull the beast feet down. Basically, they're just pegged into these slots here. So let's take a look at the figure a little more. So he does have he does have that beast mode appendage becomes the robot arms. So he does have massive arms that don't really have hands per se, but it's sort of okay. He does have these longer claws. So, and it kind of looks like hands. He just has these massive nails. So he does have slightly usable hands. And we'll kind of go in on the robot mode head, which is on it's on a ball joint. So basically just goes around pretty much your standard 90s articulation, but there's kind of a mean look on his face. For some reason, really reminds me of Ironhide. The head sculpt really reminds me of Ironhide. Even kind of got that little mohawk there. So that's probably where they got the inspiration from this guy. An armadillo, he's tough. You could say he has a bit of an Ironhide. So, but yeah, that face really makes me think a lot of Ironhide. So that's probably what he was meant to be that's probably where some of the inspiration came from. Articulation-wise, he's got ball joints all over the place. So pretty much kind of the standard articulation for the smaller figures. Unfortunately, the legs, they do have some bend to them with the ball joints, but unfortunately because of the shell, you pretty much cannot put the legs behind him. So he is a bit limited in his articulation, so there is that small problem. Unfortunately, having the big shell on his back, plus it being rounded, so I think other figures like Rat Trap actually do this part a little bit better. Rat Trap has the part where the back kind of folds out, so it doesn't do as much. But, you know, the beast head becomes the chest. So he does come with the two weapons that were from the claws, and you can kind of pick your configuration, but he does have, the first is a gun, so he does have a laser blaster, and his other weapon is a mace. So overall, this is a tough little Maximal, because you can stick the one there. So basically, dude's got a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. So this guy is clearly meant to fight. And he's got, dude literally has his choice of weapons. So he can hit opponents up close, or he can shoot from a distance. So overall, I like the weapons choices. It really kind of gives a nice, I guess I don't know how to say it, but it gives a nice little something to the character in the fact that he doesn't really have to choose a weapon. This guy really seems to be meant to be an all-around fighter and soldier. So he can fight from up close or shoot from a distance. So he's packing heat and he's ready to go. So overall, it's not a bad figure. I do like this figure. For some reason, the orange and the gray, I like the color scheme. He's got this pop of red in the eyes, got this smirk on his face. Like, it really just gives me an Ironhide kind of vibe for that kind of soldier. But overall, I do like this figure. I think it's a nice figure. You know, if you do get a chance to add this guy to your collection, I would recommend it. Some of these basic Beast Wars figures from the early days of the line are not bad. They're simple, but they do pack a lot of punch into them. So it looks like there was some detail given to Armordillo just to give him some personality through his details, which I very much appreciate. So I do like this figure. This is my original figure from 1995, I think this figure was released in. So yeah, he's been in my collection the whole time, and I somehow managed to keep him in a very good condition. So I'm okay with that. But I think that'll do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all those things that help the algorithm, and I'll see you on the next one.